Miss Kranz here to teach you math on this Monday, and I hope you're ready to start a new chapter. We are leaving behind graphs and tables and all of that, and we're moving on to percents. So percent can be a little bit challenging, so please make sure that you're watching these videos fully, and that if you have questions, you are asking us, you're interacting with us, you're saying, Miss Kranz, I don't understand. Mrs. Ricard, I don't understand. Miss Garcia, I don't understand. Can you please help me? Make sure you're doing that. So I want you to open your math book to page 500 and take out your math notes, take out your practice book page if you're planning on doing that, or take out your homework page, because right after you're done watching, you'll get straight to do your homework. And so when I have the word percent, percent compares a number to 100. So it means per 100. So for every something of 100 is what I have. So if I have 10%, that means 10 per 100, or 10 out of 100. So if that word per, P-E-R, is throwing you off, you're like, I don't understand what that means, I want you to just think 10 out of 100. So for instance, I have a 100 chart behind me, and if I shade in 10 of these boxes, I have 10% that is shaded and 90% that is not shaded. Okay, it's because 10 out of 100 is shaded. So we are going to focus on using this hundreds chart to model percents, and we're going to use it not only to find percents, but also the corresponding fraction and the corresponding decimal that goes with that percent. Okay, so I have a word problem, so I'm on page 500 of your math book. It says Danielle has a collection of 100 game board counters, so the pieces of board games, and she has 40 blue counters, 25 yellow counters, and 15 green counters. And I want to model the collection of game board counters on a 10 by 10 grid, which is what I have here. We also call it a 100 chart. Then we're going to write each color as a percent, a decimal, and fraction. So you need to make sure that you're writing all three of those. It's very specific. I don't just want the percent. I also want the fraction and the decimal that goes along with it. So we are going to use this model behind me, and I don't have a yellow whiteboard marker, so instead I'm going to use yellow. Okay, so I'm going to start off with my 40 blue counters, and I'm going to shade 40 on my hundreds chart. Okay, so I have 4 rows that are shaded, and now I need to shade 25 yellow. You may have yellow at home. I don't. I'm using red. So okay, just in case we forget that this is supposed to be yellow. Okay, and then I have 15 green. So I'm going to start here. This is 5, and then I have 10 here. Okay, so now I have shaded in each one. Okay, and it's very simple to now take that and make percentages. Really, I just take 40 and I add a percent sign, which makes it 40%. So this is yellow slash red, which is 25, and then green, okay. There's no problems that you have to do in order to change it from a regular number to a percentage. I just put a percent sign. Okay, now I need to do the same thing for decimals. So how do I change a percent to a decimal? Is I move the percent twice. So I say 1, 2. So now this is 0.40, 0.25, 0.15. Okay? So now I have all the numbers in percents and decimals, but I also need to do fractions. So remember I said it's out of 100. So I'm going to take 40 and put it over 100. Now, if you are in my class, and I'm sure that if you're in Garcia's or Ricard's, you've also heard this. If I have a fraction, I always have to simplify. Always. Okay? I never just leave it the way it is. So I'm not going to leave this as 40 over 100. I'm going to simplify. So I need to think what they have in common. Okay, I might think 2, but then I might want to think maybe a little bit more. What about 5? So this is 820. Okay, and then maybe I'm thinking, wait, I can reduce that again. So I'm going to divide by 4. Okay, so 40 over 100 is also equal to 2/5. Now, maybe you, right off the bat, were thinking and got 2/5 right off the bat. Great. Okay, one thing I do is when I have 2 zeros like this, I could do this, cross those zeros off, and say that I have 4/10. And then I can say 2 and 2/5. Okay? However, maybe your mind doesn't work that way. You need to take a few extra steps. That's okay. I did just now, right? I did 2. That's fine. Okay, if the only number you see is 2, use 2, but you're going to be simplifying until you can't simplify anymore. Okay, and then I need to do 25 over 100. Okay, because 25 is 1/4 of a dollar, right? 1/4 is 1/4 of a dollar. Okay, and then I have to do the same thing for 15 over 100. I'm going to use 5. Can I simplify any more? No, so I am done. Okay, so for each problem that you have, you are going to have to tell me the percent, tell me the decimal, and tell me the fraction in simplest form. Okay, don't just give me the percent, don't just give me the fraction. I want all 3 on each problem unless it specifically says give me the fraction or give me the percent or give me the decimal. But for the most part, it's going to say all 3. Okay, now I'm going to erase the board and put up a blank one because we're going to do another example. Okay, so I want to go back and give you some notes that I said out loud but didn't have you write down just so that you don't forget. So this is model percents, and percents per 100. Okay. Example. Okay, so I want you to imagine that you have a hundredths chart that is filled up to 90. So So then I would say, what is the percent? Okay, well, if it is colored 90 numbers, or it's filled up to 90, what percentage is that? Okay, well, that's easy. If it's 90, it's just 90%. Okay, decimal. I'm going to take my decimal sign and I'm going to move it here and here. So now I have 0, 90, or 0, 9. And then fraction is 90 over 100. Okay, and I know that because it's a percent, first of all, but also because the 0 is in the hundredths place, so then it's 90 hundredth if we're talking decimals. Now, can I simplify this? I'm just going to go this, and then I have 9 tenths. And I can't simplify that anymore, so that is my answer. Okay, and I do want to talk about something. If I have 9 tenths, for instance, if I want to change that into a percent, I can't just say it's 9%, okay? Because it's not out of 10. A percent is not out of 10, it's out of 100. So I need to change that 10 to be 100. And what do I do to do that? I'm going to multiply by 10. So now I have 90 over 100, which is 90%. Okay? Anytime you have a fraction, it needs to have 100 on the bottom. And if it doesn't have 100, or if it doesn't go into 100, you can't make 100. There's a way to do that, and it's called division, and Mrs. Ricard will talk about that more in tomorrow's lesson. So for now, that is all that I have for you for math. You are now doing homework pages 207 to 208 for sure. You are doing the practice book page for chapter 23, lesson 1 if you want. If not, that's okay. You can also go on to iExcel. And it is iExcel Math 5th grade, R2. So R2, if you want to have some extra practice as well for converting from a percent to a decimal and so on. And so that's up to you. You may want to wait until later in the week, or you could do it today if you want, if you have some extra time. But otherwise, that's all I have for you today. And don't forget to do your homework and make sure you ask us questions, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.